All right, so I ordered my first action cam, and also ordered to use with it a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. It is a class 10. If you haven't paid attention to the classes of your memory cards, they're basically how fast it can read and write. Basically, the higher the class, the faster and the higher resolution video or images that you can put on it and take off of it. So class 10 is generally what you want for high quality, fast memory access. So that was actually a pretty good deal on Amazon. I'll put a link to it. So I'm not real familiar with the company, but it got like 200 plus really good reviews. So that got with it. Bought it from this action cam from Amazon. It's the Lightdow LD4000 1080p HD wide angle action cam. So as I open this, I've wanted to get something like a GoPro for some time, and I'm actually going to flip this over real quick, boom, so I can see what I'm doing. I've wanted something like a GoPro for a while, but I'm cheap. As I've mentioned in pretty much any video I have, I'm a cheap guy. So I don't have a whole lot of extra spending money to spend on my hobby, so I try to make any of my spending go as far as possible. So I looked into the GoPro alternatives, like the 808 keychain cameras and the Mobius camera and the RunCam 1 and RunCam 2. Oh, nice. The issue with those, they're great cameras from all the reviews and everything that I've heard, but still, they were in the $69 to $80 price range as I was looking at them online and other places. And I wasn't quite ready to spend that much money on my first action camera. But with some digging and research, I found what is basically a GoPro knockoff, which is the Lightdow LD4000 HD DV. And as you can see, nice retail packaging. It's got all the information. I'll put details in there. But let's see what's in the box. One of the reasons I bought this is I wanted something that I could put up on my RC aircraft and get some better quality video. I also wanted something to replace my iDork hat, as I call it, because some of my other flight videos that I've done, I have a ball cap that has I'll put a picture of it in here, that has basically a clip that lets you clip in your smartphone and use it with a tripod mount. So I want something to be able to use better. That's a tiny little bag, look at that. That would work a little bit better than that. And this kind of came up with pretty decent reviews from all of my research. There's a lot in here. Zip ties, nice little microfiber cloth. Boom. All right. And this thing kind of came as one whole kit. And one of the things that stood out about it was 1080p. I didn't need anything 4K. HD, H.264. But one of the things I liked about it was it has an LCD screen on the back. And it has, the same type of form factor as a GoPro. So if I have to figure this out. Let's see. I could look at the manual, but who looks at manuals? There we go. All right. So nice. Comes with a nice waterproof case here. So that's a first thing, with a kind of springy, clippy mount, which probably works with most GoPro compatible accessories. I'll just put the packaging out of the way there. So we got that. Before we get into looking at this, which I love this part. I love any type of nice electronic device that has a nice smooth surface. There's always this nice film and I get this strange satisfaction of pulling the protective film off. I don't know why. I know I'm not the only one, but I'll set that off to the side. So we've got our instruction booklet, some type of mount here, or a couple mounts. These are adhesives. So we've got one with the, this would probably be our tripod mount because it's got the little 20 thread nut and it could snap in with this in some manner, which I will figure out later. So that's there. Some zip ties. This is like a handlebar. Yeah, so I think this is the like handlebar mount. So you can unscrew this. It's got a nice, oh, nice little rubber cushion there. And you can thread that, which I think this is the other part of that, or a related part of it. That goes probably in like this. Yeah. We've got battery here. Now this is interesting because one of the things that drew me to this particular one was it also said that it came with an extra battery. So I'm hoping that there's one in the actual camera itself. Here's my USB charging plug. Go ahead and pull that battery out. And I'll fiddle around with all these knobs and brackets and stuff. Most of the stuff I don't know that I would have a lot of use for because I'm not like an extreme sports guy, but oh, that looks like, oh, it's got, you can hook it either way, so you can do it upside down or right side up. Nice. Little safety cable and some 3M adhesive pads. More clippy things. This is going to be my charging cable right here. So this comes with quite a bit. Now, here's the kicker. This is one of the things, because I'm a cheap guy, the price for everything, not including the SD card. This SD card was $9, but just this kit, everything that came in this box up here, I got on Amazon for $42. So yeah, that's a big price difference when compared to, I think this is a replacement back panel for this. So I will just leave that in the container. So yeah, $42 for all of this, the camera itself, all these accessories. One thing I do know is that there is a battery compartment here. And there's the other battery. That's interesting. I thought it would be hinged, but it just pops in there. All right, so you get all of the accessories plus 2 batteries. That was a really nice bonus in my mind. Let's see here. Let me get this back in, then we'll take a look at the fit and feel of it. Oh, it does only go in one way. I need to be smarter than my device that I purchased if I can put it in the right way. Here we go. Get back. No, that's obviously not the right way. Let's try it that way. All right, there we go. All right, so one minor nitpick kind of thing that I would have liked is this panel, if there's some way that they would have had some type of, you know, like this type of little flappy thing, just something to hold that panel on so it was more hinged rather than if you just pull this off. And I'm going to let it fall off again just because I want to memorize which way it goes. There's a little tab on one end and this one goes down a different way. So I just need to remember that the downward facing tab is the one that goes by the latch. But that's it there. Now it does come in several different colors. I went with the bright yellow, mostly for visibility, because I am going to have this on flying devices. I'm going to definitely want to, you know, make it easy to find if it falls off. And even, you know, if it's in the casing, it's still pretty vibrant and relatively easy to spot. In a minute, I'm going to plug it in. But okay, so looking at the front, you've got the lens itself, a mode selection, which is also power, You've got two menu selections on the side here, and there's a little bit of a grill. You probably can't see it in the camera itself, but there's this texture that runs all the way around. There's some little holes here, so I'm thinking that there's a little speaker, or maybe that's the microphone on the side there. I'm not sure where the microphone would be. Maybe that is the microphone. But on this side, you do have some up and down for selecting on the menus. And there's two LEDs that you can just barely see right here on, let me get the light to hit it just right, on the edge there, which I'm sure are some type of indicators we'll see as I get more familiar with it. Yeah, you can barely see right there on the edge. Then on this side, we have our SD card slot, so I'll be able to slide that in there. Also a micro HDMI out right there, and our USB power port there. So that's basically what you have on it. And then there's an indicator on top and an OK button on the top. So battery on the bottom, mode select and OK, and then you're up and down the menus here. Fit and finish, the whole, I don't have gigantor hands or anything. Looking at the size here, I'm going to guess this is exactly the size of a GoPro. So a little over 1.5 inches tall and 1 inch thick, and let's see, 2.25 inches wide. Overall, oh, I just hit the power button. Look at that. So there is a bit of a charge on the battery. Oh, the battery is actually showing full. So we'll see if the camera will focus in on that. But there you can see a live feed of what's on there. It does have a 170-degree view lens built in. So I'll get that on here, and I'll just intersperse some footage. But it's got a nice wide angle, field of view, just like a GoPro or anything else. The blue light's on here when the power's on. And if I remember right, if I hit mode on the front, again, 12 megapixels, no image. All right, here we go. Here's our menu. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. So if I don't get it on this one, I'll do a overlay, but we've got resolution. Let's see, there's 8 menus on this, 8 screens of menus. So cyclic record, which I believe is the loop recording, because you can set it up so that it will automatically start recording as soon as it gets power. So in that way you could mount it into a car, like as a dash cam, and then have it powered by cigarette lighter or whatever, so that as soon as you turn on the key and it gets power, it would start recording. And then the cyclic record means that it would start recording the chip immediately, and then as it gets to the end of its memory, it would just loop back and record over the oldest part of the recording, so that you can get a continuous loop of recording until you stop recording. So in that case, if you're using it as like a dash cam, you could set it up, it would constantly run, and then if there is an issue, there's a point where, yep, something I wanted to record, or there's an accident, or anything happened that you want to keep, you would then just manually come up and say, okay, stop recording, and you will have everything up until that moment still recorded on there without ever having to stop. Whoop. Get back to mode here. Let's see here. HDR. Let's see if I hit OK. Yep, on and off. Leave that on. Let's see here. Motion detection. You can also have it set up so that it will only start recording if it detects a change in motion. Let's see your audio. You can turn the audio on or off. I know that there's going to be times where I'll get nothing but wind noise where I'm going to be recording. You can adjust the date stamp, and we'll leave that. Let's see, I'm going to set that off. I don't need a date stamp. Capture mode. Oh, you can do different timers, so you can set up basically a time lapse. So 5-second, 10-second, 20-second timer. Image size, it does take still images as well. I'll have to go through and play around with it. But it looks like it does 12 megabytes, which is 4032 by 3024. 10 megabytes, and so on and so forth, all the way down to 5 megabytes, down to VGA is the smallest it looks like. Let's say 12 megabyte. Yeah, we'll go back up to, leave that the maximum. No card. Yes, of course, I don't have a card in there yet. Thank you. Let's try mode. There we go. That gets it out of there. Let's see. Motion detection, audio, date stamp, capture mode, image size, quality. Fine, normal, economy. I'll probably want fine quality. Sharpness. That's something that I like. You can set whether or not it's going to do strong or soft sharpening on the images itself. A lot of the action cams had some, at least the budget action cams, when you're looking at the footage, it's really got a weird kind of sharpening algorithm. White balance, auto, you can actually set it specifically for the lighting conditions, or go with auto. Color, black and white, you can, well, I wouldn't use that, but that's nice that feature's in there. Your ISO, so you can have it automatically adjust your exposure, or you can set it to ISO 100, 200, 400. If you're not familiar with ISO, that's basically your exposure. So the higher the ISO, let me see if I remember this. The higher the ISO, the faster the exposure. Let's leave it to auto. No, the exposure is actually right here. You can actually auto push it, the exposure up a little different. Face detection, anti-shaking. Make sure that's off. Okay, yeah. Quick review. You can do, I guess, as soon as you stop recording, I'm betting that it will allow you to watch the last little bit of your video. Date stamp, language, date stamp off. I'm setting that language, so you've got several different languages in here. English, French, Espanol, Polski, Deutsch, Italiano. I'm guessing that is Japanese, Chinese, Russian, Cantonese, I'm guessing. I have no idea what that one is. Portuguese. I'll leave it on English because that's the one I speak. Let's see, your date and time you can set. Let me just hit mode, which should drop me out of there. There we go. Auto power on and off. This is what I was talking about if you were setting up for like a dash cam, beep sound, TV mode. I'm guessing that's for the mini HDMI out. Screensavers, interesting. 1 minute. I'm guessing, let's see here, frequency. You can choose the frequency that the video is recorded at, 50 hertz, 60 hertz. Rotate. This is also a nice feature. Some of the less expensive cameras, if you, because of how they're shaped or whatever, if you have to mount them upside down, you're then stuck with your video being upside down. If you're not real familiar or you don't have a whole lot of, if you don't have a lot of power in your editing software or something, or you may not be familiar with how to flip your video back over afterwards, this can at least save you the hassle so that you can basically set it so that it's going to automatically flip the video for you. I'll leave that off for now. Car mode, I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to look that up. OSD, I think that's basically this LCD. And then we're at the 8th screen where you can delete, format, default setting, and version. So, lots of options so far. I need to get a chip in it and take a look at the video quality. For most of what I've seen, let's see if I hold this mode power button down, I'm betting it'll turn off. Whoops. All right, so I just hit it. Now I'm back to the recording size. Now if I hold it down, it even says goodbye. How cute is that? So far, I like what I'm seeing. Again, it's $42. It's not a GoPro, and I'm not saying it's a GoPro, and I'm not saying it's as good as a GoPro. But if it shoots at 1080p and it does everything it's supposed to, then it is definitely worth the $42 that I spent on it. And at some point, if I decide that I need to move up to a more complex or more expensive setup, I probably will. But at this point, as an entry-level GoPro alternative, GoPro knockoff, or action cam knockoff, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. The whole case has kind of like a rubberized feel. The whole back is a plastic, it's not a glass. I know Lightdow makes a more expensive version of this that shoots in 4K, true 4K, and the screen is basically the entire back side. It's much larger. One of the videos that I watched that kind of helped me decide to give this a try, it was actually the 4K version of this that I think is only about $10 more. But so far I like what I'm seeing. You know, Lightdow, I don't know anything about that particular company, but for $42, you get this entire kit of stuff. You add $9 for an SD card. Ooh, I can win an iPad Air according to that. Yeah, like I said, I like what I'm seeing. But that's what you get with the box. $42. Like I said, I'm excited to see what I can do with this. Getting ready to start building my fly plotter. Got the Arduino parts right there, the H-bridge, stepper motor drivers. There's the stepper motors, my linear rails, and all the packaging and everything that came with this. So we'll just kind of look at the manual and use that as some of our footage. Let's see, operator indicator, battery cover, all these different things. Picture of waterproof case. Ooh,